Hello and welcome to your practice. I'm Becky, and today I'm going to take you through a nice yoga practice to boost your immune system and to detox the body with some twists and to expand the heart and chest, to open up the lymph node areas in the armpit and the groin. So, without further ado, we are going to get started down on our backs, knees bent, feet on the floor. Arms at your side, palms up. Just take a couple of breaths, lengthen the back of the neck, bring the chin down towards the chest slightly. Let the chest and the heart open up, expand, and tune into your breath. Inhale, chest expands, belly expands. Exhale, belly falls, chest falls. So just a few of these nice slow breaths to center ourselves to start this practice. Good. And then on your next exhale, let's bring the right knee into the chest. Hug the knee. Relax the shoulders. A couple of breaths here. We're going to warm up the leg, hips, and low back. So let's stretch the right foot up to the ceiling. We'll circle the right ankle, nice and slow in one direction. Let's circle the ankle in the opposite direction. Point and flex the right foot. Feel a nice stretch in the calf muscle in the arch of the foot. Let's keep the right foot flexed. Exhale, bring the right knee into the chest. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the back of the neck. We're going to keep the head and the shoulders down and stretch the left leg out on the mat. Lengthen the left leg from your left hip all the way down through the bottom of the left foot. Left foot is flexed. In fact, both feet are flexed. Big breaths into the belly. Let's rebend the left knee, bring the left foot to the floor, bring the right foot to the floor. And with both feet on the floor, rock the hips side to side. Little rocking motion. Little massage for the low back, a little loosening up for the hips. Gets the thighs working a bit. Bring the knees to center. Inhale with your exhale, bring the left knee into the chest. Relax the shoulders, tuck the chin. We'll stretch the left foot up to the ceiling and circle the left ankle in one direction. Circle in the opposite direction. We'll point and flex the left foot. Nice stretch on this side, this calf, this arch. Keep your left foot flexed. Exhale, bring the left knee into the chest. Tuck the chin, relax the shoulders. Keep your shoulders and head down and stretch the right leg out on the mat. Lengthen the right leg from the right hip all the way down through the bottom of the foot. Both feet are flexed. Big breaths into the low belly. Rebend your right knee, bring your right foot to the floor, bring your left foot to the floor. With both feet on the floor, rock the hips side to side. Bring the knees to center. Inhale. With your exhale, hug both knees into the chest. And now we're going to roll the whole back body side to side. Shoulders and hips roll. As far over, as little over, as fast or as slow as feels good. The head can stay centered, or the head can roll the same direction as the knees and shoulders. Bring everything to center. Use your abdominals. Don't let your waistline lift. We're going to bring our feet down to the floor. They can come down one at a time if you like. We're going to roll over onto our left side. Going to be working on warming up the left hip, leg. So you're going to make a little pillow for your head with your hand, with your left hand, or you can rest your head on a yoga block. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. Or a pillow or a folded blanket. So the knees are stacked and the hips are stacked. Your heels are in line with your spine. Want to keep the hips stacked and don't roll the hips back. We're going to work on a clamshell. The feet stay together and we're going to inhale and bring the right knee up. but don't roll back to get that right knee higher. Exhale, we're going to lower it. You can even keep your right hand on the right hip to make sure it doesn't roll back. Inhale, lift the right knee. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. We're going to do one more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Now keep the knees together, keep the hips stacked, and just the right foot is going to lift towards the ceiling. So inhale, lift the right foot. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. We can feel this on the outer right thigh. Lift and lower. Two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Now, stretch the right leg out, so right foot goes towards the bottom of the mat. We'll flex the right foot. Keep your hips stacked. Inhale, lift the right leg up, and exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. So working on inner and outer thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Let's take two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Bend your right knee. Come up to sitting. We're going to switch sides. You can just roll over or you can switch to the other side. You're going to readjust that support, whether it's your right arm or a pillow or yoga block under that right side. Your knees are stacked. Hips are stacked. Let's keep the left hand on the left hip just to make sure we don't roll backwards. Feet stay together. Feet are in line with your spine. Inhale, lift the left knee up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, but don't roll backwards. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Now the knees are going to stay together. Hips stay stacked. And we're going to just lift the left foot up towards the ceiling. Lower the left foot down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. So we can feel that in the hip and the thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Two more. Lift. Lower. One more time. Lift. Lower. Now stretch the left leg out towards the bottom of the mat. Left foot is flexed. Keep your hips stacked. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Let's take two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Bend your left knee. And you're going to come onto your back. So you can set that block or that support aside that you had under your head. Come down onto your back. We're going to come into reclined cobbler's pose. So the bottoms of the feet together, knees open. You can take yoga blocks or pillows or cushions if you want a little bit more support on the outer thighs. Adjust how far your feet are from your heels. They can be further apart, further away from each other, or closer in, whatever gives you the best feel for the lower body. We want our legs and our hips to relax as much as possible. And then we're going to bring our arms up into cactus arms. So elbows in line with your shoulders, wrists in line with your elbows, like a goalpost. That doesn't feel good. If you can't relax the arms, you can bring the arms out into a T position, or you can bring them down by your side. We just want our palms up. Relax the body as much as possible. So shoulders and arms relax, hips and legs relax, and we're going to tune into that belly breathing. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. So this is really good for our immune system. It's opening up the armpit and the groin where major lymph nodes are. And as we take these deep breaths, that's helping to move the lymph fluid through those major lymph nodes. Our lymph system is a major player in our immune system. And the lymph nodes is where the lymph fluid gets cleansed. So as it passes through those lymph nodes, think of them as cleansing stations. So nice, slow inhales and exhales using that belly breath. We want the belly to rise with the inhale and fall with the exhale. Relax your body as much as possible. Try to hold zero tension in the body. Now, nice and slow, we're going to bring the arms down by our side and bring the knees together. Hug the knees into the chest, and we'll roll side to side. Shoulders and hips roll. Just kind of rolling out that back body. Roll all the way over onto your side, either side, and come up to sitting. We're going to come into a modified side plank pose. So start on your left side. We're going to be on our left forearm. So our left shoulder is going to stack right over our left elbow. The bottom knee, left knee is bent. Top leg, right leg is going to stretch out. The arch side of the foot is on the mat. We're going to take the right hand, put it in front of us, and lift our hips up. Take the right hand and bring it on the right hip. Make sure that your left shoulder stacked right over your left elbow. We're going to do some hip dips. So we're going to lower the left hip down and then lift the left hip up. And we want to arch, we want to pull the rib cage up away from the floor. We're going to lower the left hip down, lift up and arch away from the floor. Last time, lower that left hip down and then lift the left hip up and really pull the left rib cage up. Right hand can stay on the right hip or right hand can lift up. Pull your belly in and up. Keep lifting the left ribs away from the floor. If you lifted the right hand, bring it to the hip and lower that left hip down. We're going to switch sides. So come onto your right side. Right elbow is going to be stacked under your right shoulder. Bottom knee, right knee is bent. Top leg, left leg is going to stretch out. The arch side of the left foot is facing the mat. Bring the left hand down in front of you and push the left hand in to lift your right hip up. And we want to lift and arch the right rib cage up. Left hand on the left hip. Let's go into our hip dips. So lower the right hip down. Lift it up. Make sure that right elbow's under the right shoulder. We're going to lower the right hip down. Lift it up and pull that rib cage away from the floor. One more time. Lower the right hip down and lift it up. Keep arching. Keep lifting that right rib cage up. Left hand can stay on the left hip or the left hand can lift up. Pull the belly button in. Strong core. Keep lifting away from the floor with that right side. If you lifted the left hand, bring it to your hip and we're going to lower the right hip down. Come on to hands and knees. Grab some extra padding if you need a little extra padding under the knees, a folded blanket or a towel. We're going to come on to hands and knees, table pose, wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Fingers are spread, index fingers parallel with each other. We're going to take our cat-cow pose. So exhale, round the spine up, tuck the chin, pull your belly button up. Inhale, tilt the hips, arch the back, stretch the belly. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, arching. Let's take one more. Exhale, rounding. And inhale, arch. Come to neutral, shift back into child's pose. Big toes barely touching, knees separate apart. And then bring your forehead down to rest on stacked hands or the yoga mat or a yoga block. I'm going to breathe into the back body. Breathe into the back shoulders, the ribs, the low back, but also breathe into the belly. So we want the belly to expand with each inhale. From child's pose, we're going to go into downward dog. Stretch the hands as far forward as they'll go, elbows up off the mat. Come up into hands and knees. You can walk your knees a little closer together. Your hands should be at least shoulder width apart, maybe even a little wider if your shoulders are tight. Index fingers are parallel with each other. Curl your toes under. Inhale. With your exhale, lift up, shift back, downward dog. Your head should be right in between your arms, your ears right by your biceps, toes spread out on the mat. Let's walk it out. One heel lowers, other heel lowers. Keep the belly pulling in and up. Keep tucking the chin so the back of the neck is long. We don't want to look towards the hands. We're looking back towards the feet or the knees and just walking out the backs of the legs. Bring the heels level with each other. Come forward and drop down to knees. Shift back into child's pose, just a couple of breaths. Maybe a few wrist circles or wiggle the fingers, maybe even wobbling hips and shoulders a little side to side. Good. We're going to go into one more downward dog with a variation with wide feet and bent knees. So from child's pose, stretch your hands as far forward as they'll go. Elbows are up off the mat. Come into hands and knees. Knees come a little closer together so they're parallel. Take a look at the hands, index fingers parallel with each other. Curl the toes under. Inhale. With your exhale, lift up, shift back into your regular downward dog. Tuck your chin. Now walk your feet as wide as the mat, so your pinky toes are at the outside edges of the mat. Bend your knees a lot and then shift your hips way back. Scoop that belly in and up. So as if you're like a frog and you're going to launch, you're going to lift up and jump forward. Those knees bent and the hips stick way back. Keep that belly pulling in and up. Now bring the weight forward on the hands. Come down to knees. Big toes barely touching, knees wide, shift back into child's pose. Wobble the hips and shoulders a little side to side. Just stretch out that back body, and then maybe a few wrist circles or wiggle the fingers. Good. We're going to come up into a short lunge. So make your way up into a high kneeling pose. Your right foot's going to come forward. We want our right knee over our right heel, and we want our left hip over our left knee. Isometrically, we're going to work the legs. So already before we do anything, this left thigh, left hip is getting a lot of good work. But isometrically now, push your right foot down into the mat and pull the right heel back and shift your left knee forward. So right heel pulls back, left knee moves forward, belly scoops in and up. Good. Now bring the arms up into cactus arms. Elbows back, wrists back. The belly scoops in and up, and keep that isometric energy of the legs. Right heel pulls back, left knee pushes forward. Good. Exhale, relax the legs, lower the arms, bring your right knee back by your left. Bring your left foot forward. So left knee is going to stack over left heel, right knee will be over, right hip will be over right knee. Isometrically, we're going to work the legs. Left foot pushes down into the mat and left heel pulls back. At the same time, the right knee moves forward. So we can really feel the legs, the hamstrings, the quads, thighs. Scoop that belly in and up. Bring the arms up to cactus arms. So lift the heart, pull the elbows back, pull the wrists back as you keep that isometric pulling back of the left heel, pushing forward of the right knee. Don't forget to breathe because there's a lot going on here with all the isometric energy in the legs. Relax the legs, lower the arms. We're going to bring the left knee back by the right. Come down into hands and knees table. Cat, cow pose. So wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Exhale, round the spine. Pull the belly button up. Inhale, arch. 2 more of these. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, arch. 1 more. We're going to exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Now we're going to do an isometric cat-cow. So make the knees wide, big toes barely touching, kind of like we are for child's pose. We have our wrists under our shoulders, but our knees are wider than our hips. We're going to exhale and round the spine. As we round, isometrically push the hands away from you or forward and the knees back. So hands and knees moving away from each other. Now inhale, and we're going to arch and isometrically slide the hands and the knees towards each other. Let's take 2 more of those. Exhale, round, hands and knees isometrically slide away from each other. Inhale and arch. Hands and knees shift towards each other. Your feet might lift up off the floor. That's okay. Exhale, round. Slide the hands and knees away from each other isometrically. They're not really moving on the mat. Inhale and arch, and isometrically pull hands and knees towards each other. Good. Come to neutral. Shift back into child's pose. Wobble hips and shoulders a little side to side. Take a few little wrist circles or wiggle the fingers. Let your forehead rest. Breathe into the whole back body. Good. We're going to go into, so come up to sitting for a moment. We're going to go into a downward dog with a little twist. Once we're into downward dog, we're going to bring our hands, our shoulders over our wrists and bring the right leg over to the left. We'll come back into downward dog, and then we're going to bring the left leg over to the right. Okay, so you can always just stop this and watch to see what I'm talking about. So we're going to start in child's pose. Hands are forward, elbows up off the mat. Come up into hands and knees, knees a little closer together. Just a simple downward dog to start with. Fingers spread nice and wide. Curl your toes under. Inhale. With your exhale, lift up, shift back. So here's our downward dog. Now we're going to bring our weight forward and so that our shoulders over our wrists. And we're going to take our right foot over to the left. The outside of the right foot is on the floor. The bottom of my right foot is facing out to the left. So a little twist. And then we're going to take the right foot back into downward dog. Shift your weight back. Bring the weight forward, shoulders over wrists. Take your left foot over to the right. Outside of the left foot is on the floor. The bottom of the left foot is pointing towards the right. Good. And then we're going to take the left foot back into downward dog. Walk it out a little bit. Just stretch the legs. Good. And come down to knees. Shift back into child's pose. A few wrist circles or wiggle the fingers. Wobble it out. So just stretch out that whole back body. Good. Now we're going to take that downward dog with the foot to the opposite side into a downward dog into a fallen star. So as we get there, we're going to lift that opposite hand. So we're going to start in child's pose, hands stretching forward, elbows up off the mat. Come up into hands and knees, fingers spread nice and wide. You can bring the knees a little closer. Curl the toes under. Inhale. With your exhale, lift up, shift back. Downward dog. Good. Now we're going to do just what we did the last time. Bring the weight forward, shoulders over wrist. We're going to take the right foot out to the left. The outside edge of your right foot is on the floor. Make sure that your right shoulder's over your right wrist. Pull your core in, and we're going to turn to the left and lift the left arm up. This is fallen star. Breathe. Exhale, bring the left hand down to the mat. Bring the right foot back into downward dog. Shift back. Other side, bring the weight forward, shoulders over wrists. The left foot is going to go over to the right, outside edge of the left foot on the floor. Bring your shoulders forward. Make sure your left shoulder's over your left wrist. Pull your core in and lift the right hand up. Turn to the right. Fallen star on this side. Exhale, right hand to the mat. Bring your left foot back, downward dog. Walk it out a little bit. One heel lowers, other heel lowers. Tuck your chin. Bring the heels level with each other. Come down to knees and shift back into child's pose. Definitely a few wrist circles there. So we want to get the blood flow and energy back into the fingers, back into the wrists, and then let your forehead rest and just wobble side to side. Stretching out that back. Make your way back up into hands and knees, table for cat pose. 3 cat breaths. Wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Good. One more. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Come to neutral. We're going to come up to standing through squat pose. Curl the toes under. Start to walk the hands back till you're balancing on toes and fingertips. If you had padding under the knees, go ahead and scoot that off to the side. We're going to go into a standing forward fold. So lift your hips up, lower your heels, widen your feet wider than your hips. Keep a nice bend in the knees. Bring hands up above the knees. Lift the chest into a halfway lift. Squeeze shoulder blades together to open the heart. Scoop your belly in and up, strong legs, long spine. We're going to hinge all the way up to standing. Once you're up to standing, adjust the clothing and shake it out a little bit. Let's separate feet as wide, a little bit wider than the hips, and take a few little side swings. Let the opposite heel lift, let the belly pull in and up, shoulders relaxed, arms floppy. So just kind of neutralizing the hips and the spine after all the floor work we did. Good. Let that slow down, and we're going to come into warrior one at the short edge of our mat with cactus arms. So step towards the short edge of your mat. We're going to take our left foot back. It goes back 3 to 3.5 feet. Have a little space between your feet. We don't want to line up the right heel and the left foot. We want a little bit of space so we can square our hips up towards the short edge of the mat. Bend your right knee stacks over right heel. Adjust that back foot so you feel good and grounded. Pull your right hip back and shift your left hip forward. So hips and shoulders face the short edge of the mat. They're not turning to the left. Think about the left leg. So the back of the left thigh, the left knee crease, the left calf are going to push back behind us. That's going to open our left hip a bit. We're going to bring the arms into cactus arms, elbows in line with the shoulders. Pull the elbows back, pull the wrists back. As you do that, lift the heart. So we're lifting the heart, scoop the belly in and up, and as the heart lifts, have a little tuck of the tail. As you tuck the tail down towards the floor, you're going to feel a little bit bigger stretch in that left hip. So keep the heart lifting, a little tuck of the tail, and that left calf, left thigh, left knee crease pushing back behind you. Let's lower the arms. Inhale. With your exhale, push off, step forward. And just take a moment, feel left leg, right leg. Now we're going to take that to the other side. So right foot steps back, goes back 3 to 3.5 feet back. Have a little space between the feet. Bend your left knee. So left hip pulls back, right hip shifts forward. Good. And then we're going to press the back of the right thigh, right knee crease, right calf back behind us. You'll feel that right hip open a little bit more. Belly scoops in and up. Keep the hips and shoulders facing that short edge of the mat. Bring the arms up into cactus arms. Pull the elbows back, pull the wrists back, and lift the heart up towards the ceiling. Pull the belly in and up, and a little tuck of the tailbone to kind of increase that stretch on the right hip flexors. Open that right hip up a little bit, right psoas, as you push the right thigh, right knee crease, right calf back behind you. Good. Exhale. We're going to lower the arms. Inhale again. As you exhale, push off, step forward. Good. And shake it out. Separate your feet a little wider than the hips. We're going to take a few little side swings. So kind of letting those hips relax after that warrior one. Good. We're going to work our core a bit. So come down to the floor, sitting, knees bent, hands on the knees. We're going to take just a few seated cat breaths. Hands on the knees, we're going to inhale, sit tall. There's a long spine with a little arch in the low back, heart lifts. And then exhale, arms go straight, tuck the chin, round your spine, pull your belly in. Inhale, sit tall, long spine. Exhale, rounding back. Let's do one more of those. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, round back. Good. Now this time you're sitting tall, stay tall. We're going to work on boat pose with a little variation. So hands come on the outer thighs. So here we want the heart to lift and a little curve in the low back. We don't want to round the back. It's this nice tall spine. So we're balancing on those sits bones. Hands on the outer thighs. We're going to lean back just a little bit. So the weight's just on the very back edge of the sits bones. We're going to stay here, feet on the floor. The belly pulls in and up, and the belly is kind of moving towards the thighs as we lift the heart. So we don't want to move away from the thighs. We kind of want to lift our belly towards the thighs. Heart lifts, and we squeeze those shoulder blades back. Good. Now we're going to come out of it into a clamshell. So bring the bottoms of the feet together, but the feet are away from the hips. They're not hugged in close to the hips. They're away from the hips, and we're going to fold forward. So just round the spine, tuck the chin. A couple breaths into the back body. Inhale, come up. We're going to bring the feet to the floor. Hands on the outer thighs. Lift the heart, little curve in the low back. We're leaning back a little bit, so we're just on that little back edge of the sits bones, and just lift the left foot. Good. Keep the belly moving towards the thighs. Keep the heart lifting. Bring the left foot down. Keep that lifting of the heart, curve in the low back, and lift the right foot up. Breathe. Bring the right foot down. Bring the bottoms of the feet together and fold forward into that clamshell. Round the spine, tuck the chin, couple breaths. Good. Inhale, come up. Bottoms of the feet come to the floor. Hands on the outer thighs, sitting tall, heart lifts, shoulder blades squeeze back, curve in the low back, lean back just a little bit, lift the left foot up, lift the right foot up, and bring your belly towards your thighs. Balance. Keep lifting the heart. Keep breathing. Good. Nice and slow. Lower the feet down. Bottoms of the feet together. Fold forward into our clamshell. Good. Make your way back up. Hands come back behind you. One at a time, stretch the legs out and just windshield wiper the feet. Just kind of shake out those legs. Good. And then we're going to make our way all the way down onto our back. So center yourself on your mat. Once you're on your back, hug the knees into the chest and roll side to side. Roll out that whole back body. The head can stay centered, or the head can go the same direction as the knees and shoulders. Just ironing out the whole back body. Bring the knees to center. Don't let your back arch. We're going to bring our feet down to the floor. They can come down one at a time. Our last pose before final relaxation is going to be a spinal twist. Stretch your left leg out on the mat. Hug the right knee into the chest. Both feet are flexed. Right arm at your side, right palm is up. Left hand is on the right knee. Inhale, and with your exhale, take the right knee over to the left. So we roll onto that left hip. We want the right shoulder down on the ground. So you can bring your right knee higher to make that happen, or pick up the upper body and shift it to the left to roll that right shoulder down to the ground. The right arm can be at your side with the right palm up, or you can bring that right arm into cactus arm, where your elbow is in line with your right shoulder. Big breaths into the low belly. Keep both feet flexed. The head can stay centered, or you can look over either shoulder. I usually just keep my head straight up towards the ceiling, but see what feels best for your neck, shoulders, upper body. The main thing is the big breaths into the low belly. Nice and slow. If you lifted that right arm into cactus arm, bring it down by your side, palm up. We're going to inhale, bring the right knee up, bring the right foot to the floor. Bend your left knee, so both knees bent, and then adjust hips and shoulders so you're even on the mat. Right leg stretches out, right foot flexed. We're going to bring the left knee in. Left arm at your side, left palm is up. Right hand on the left knee, both feet flexed. We always twist with an exhale. So inhale first, exhale, bring the left knee over to the right. We roll onto that right hip. Now we want that left shoulder to be down on the ground. So you can either bring your left knee higher or pick up the upper body, shift it to the right. That will help roll that left shoulder down. Big breaths into the low belly. Keep both feet flexed. You can keep the left arm at your side, left palm up, or bring the left arm up into cactus arm. Your left elbow is in line with your left shoulder. Doesn't matter what your left arm is doing, just take those big, slow breaths into the low belly. So twists are great for detoxing the body. Opening this left armpit, great for those lymph nodes in the left side. Good. Inhale, bring the left knee up. Let's bring left arm down by your side. Yeah, left foot comes down to the floor. Bend both knees, adjust hips and shoulders. Hug the knees into the chest and roll it out. So just kind of neutralizing that back and the hips and the shoulders after the spinal twist. Knees come to center. Don't let the waistline lift. We're going to bring feet down to the floor. Going to set up for final relaxation. For a little extra immunity booster, we can go into cobbler's pose, recline cobbler's pose with the bottoms of the feet together, knees open, arms at your side, away from the body, maybe even into T position or cactus arms. And if that's not feeling good for you today, then whatever position you like for your final relaxation. Keep that length in the back of the neck. Adjust the upper body, adjust the lower body. We're going to take some nice slow belly breaths. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. Make any little adjustments to get a little more comfortable. Eyes relax, jaw relaxes, shoulders and hips relax, arms and legs relax. Letting all of the benefits from our practice today settle into the body, our physical body, and also our energy body. Big, slow inhales, big, slow exhales. Try not to hold any tension anywhere in the body. Staying in your final relaxation for as long as you like, as long as you have time for. And if you're going to come out with me, then wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Arms come down by your side. Bring the knees together. Hug the knees into the chest. And just roll it out. Roll out the whole body. And then rolling all the way over onto one side. Use your strong arms. Come all the way up to sitting. Sitting tall. I like to sit on a yoga block. But you can sit on the floor, on a folded blanket, on a cushion, in a chair. Tailbone moves back slightly, heart lifts slightly. So we want to keep that little curve in the low back. Belly pulls in and up a little bit. Let the shoulders slide down the back. Find the breath. Let it come into the low belly now that you're all the way up to seated. We're going to bring the palms together, thumbs at the heart. And this ends our practice today. Namaste. Hope you enjoyed this practice to boost the immune system. Make sure you drink a lot of water because yoga stirs up toxins in the body, helps with digestion, elimination. We need water to help the body eliminate the wastes. And smile a lot. That helps your immune system. And until next time, bye-bye.